Everyone is fully aware that Northwest Arkansas has grown quite a bit in the last 5 years. We're looking back at the data from this year and seeing what cities grew a lot and what cities actually slowed down by 40%. So let's talk about that. Hey everybody! If you don't know who I am, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you weren't aware, I actually was a real estate broker located in the dumpster fire, the horrible, the no good, dirty state of Illinois, Chicagoland area. The worst. Anyways, I was a broker up there for many, many years, and I decided to move to try to find the best place to live in America. I searched long and wide, all different places, and I ended up right here in Northwest Arkansas. Best place to live in America by far. If you ever want to meet, talk about, hang out, obviously drink coffee, hang out, talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas, or call me, text me, talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas out of anywhere in America, definitely call me. Any whole thing, we can meet up and talk about the whole area, why I chose Northwest Arkansas versus anywhere else in America. Also, if you haven't been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds exactly what it is. It's a starter pack full of all the cool things Northwest Arkansas. What's going on in Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? What are the schools like? What are the hospitals like? All the things you want to know about Northwest Arkansas, packaged, shipped right to your home. Literally packaged right to your home. Enter your name below, enter your address below. Where's this package going to? Let me know all the information below and make sure they get the package shipped to you right away. Also, side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. It is my favorite four-letter F word. Free! So enter your information below. I'll make sure to get the package shipped to you right away. All right. So today we're diving into the data of 2023 and the actual building permits in each city. I'm sure this will be very short, not boring at all, I promise you that. But what this is going to do is going to kind of show us what this year held for so many cities in the area. Plus, we're going to talk about what actually is going to happen in the future in 2024. So let's go look into the data real quickly for just a minute or two, kind of talk about what happened in 2023, homes, purchases, all different stuff, and then we're going to talk about what 2024 will hold. All right, so I'm going to look down at my computer screen. I'm going to jump into some of the data really quickly for a few minutes, city by city, and then we're going to talk about some of the hot takes I have for the growth of 2024. So the first one we need to talk about is Bentonville, the elephant in the room, of course. Last year they had, in 2022, they had 427 building permits. This year they have 425. So across the board, flatline. One thing let's talk about beforehand, Fayetteville actually had 514 this year. And then last year was 686. So definitely about 25%. So that's a big hit for actually Fayetteville. But the previous year before then was such a massive upswing for them. So it's kind of like a zoo for Fayetteville at the moment. Now let's talk about Bella Vista a little bit. Again, we're going to see something similar to Fayetteville, but a little bit more permits. So 472 permits this year, and then last year was 507, so a drop of about 7%. And then the two I want to talk about that are actually three I want to talk about the outliers. These are the big ones we need to talk about, and they will make the next year's list for sure. First one, we need to talk about Rogers. Rogers City, it is exploded the last, definitely this year. I've always been bullish on Rogers. I always talk about Rogers. Like Bentonville is by far, obviously the biggest, most money dumped in city, but Rogers is definitely nipping at the heels. Now, part of it is that Bentonville, Rogers really bleed into each other a lot. A lot of the Walmart vendors end up in Rogers. A lot of the homes are being built in Rogers. Now, the thing with Rogers specifically is that when it comes to building permits, it's not necessarily there's a lot of houses being built. There's a lot of multifamily and apartments and single family like 3-story high rises. We got townhouses, condos. Everything's being built in Rogers. So the Rogers numbers were shocking. So last year it was 263 permits. So 263 last year. This year 502. Almost double the amount of permits in 1 year. So 2023. Another one we need to be on the actual radar. Again, doubling itself. We have 320, so Springdale. So again, Springdale is up and coming. That will definitely make the list next year for my predictions of hot takes because of the money being dumped in downtown Springdale. We have 208 permits last year. This year, 296, so 400. So we have another doubling. Rogers and Springdale have doubled in the last 2 years when it comes to permitting. And that trend will continue into next year. Now, the one that is kind of like the shockingly huge downfall for all of this was Centerton. Last year, we had 753 permits of housing in Centerton. This year, 492, a drop of almost 40% this compared to last, so almost 35%. So huge drop in Centerton. So that's kind of the data set. Like kind of recap a little bit. Bentonville flatlined. We have Bella Vista kind of dipped a little bit, 7% dip. Fayetteville is actually a 25% dip, so that was a huge dip. almost comparison to Centerton. Centerton was the biggest dip, over 35, almost 40% dip of housing permitting. Opposite effect, we have Rogers, almost a 50% increase, Springdale, 50% increase. That's kind of the data set. Now let's jump over to the hot takes for 2024. All right, so my first hot take when it comes to cities in 2024, my first, and has been on my radar all this year and a little bit last year, is Pea Ridge. Pea Ridge, Pea Ridge, Pea Ridge, Pea Ridge. Is Pea Ridge the prettiest city of all time? No. Is it super close to Bentonville, downtown Bentonville? Yes. Is it affordable housing? For sure. Is there a lot of land to be built on? 100% absolutely. Pea Ridge is going to make the ranks. Now, the data that we have collected on this thing is actually the major cities. Will Pea Ridge be entering that city ranking shortly? Probably not, honestly. It won't cross, a huge threshold, for instance, but it's going to definitely keep growing a lot in the next 3 to 5 years. Will it ever become a massive city that hit the top 5? Probably, you never know. I don't know. But long story short, Pea Ridge is going to be a huge hot take growth next year. The second hot take I have for cities in Northwest Arkansas, and this is to be the one with big growth, is going to be Prairie Grove. So first one is Pea Ridge, second one Prairie Grove. The reason that Prairie Grove is making my list this year versus other years is that Raj Coleman, a kind of Midwest builder here, has actually announced that they're developing over 250 homes in Prairie Grove in the next couple of years. So the next year and the year after will be a massive growth for Prairie Grove. It's already been established, already been prepped out. If you go to the ground right now, it's already being worked on as we speak. So fascinating 2024 and 2025 for Prairie Grove. A lot of the building permits will be issued next year. So you're going to see a huge uptick in Prairie Grove. And on top of that, interest rates have fallen considerably, which will only make things move faster when it comes to housing and money and everything else because of the interest rates. So I imagine that there's going to be a lot of more crunch next year into the time frames because of the lower and dropping interest rates, honestly. So Prairie Grove is my second hot take. Whoa. Before I jump on to the next point, I have something brand new called Instant Home Updates. So maybe you're looking to move to the area and using things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications? Way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. Sounds exactly what it is, literally Instant Home Updates. So enter your information below, name, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, where do you want to move to Northwest Arkansas, all the different places. Let me know with all the information below and make sure you don't miss a single notification when it comes for homes for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, side note, every single Friday I send an email. I'll just kind of tell about all the cool things in Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? What's going on in Rogers? What new businesses are moving here? What's going on in the Woman Amphitheater? What are the Razorbacks? So much stuff all the time. Literally so much all the time. Enter your name below, enter your email below, and make sure you get the email every single Friday. But sadly, side note, you will get a little fear of missing out, little FOMO, so to speak. But I promise you will be the most important person eventually when you make it down to Northwest Arkansas. And the third hot take I have for cities in Northwest Arkansas that are growing, this was on the list I just talked about, but Springdale, boy howdy, you get in for a ride. It'll be interesting because Springdale is growing exponentially, and a lot of it is because for the obvious reasons of the tens of, I don't want to say 100, but probably tens of millions of dollars being developed into the downtown section of Springdale. Springdale doesn't have a lot of land to work with, only on the far east side of Springdale, but they are definitely building out there 100%. And the interesting thing, if you're an investor side, is that not only is it for building new homes, but secondly, it's going to be homes that are going to be kind of redone in a lot of ways, especially ones that are near downtown Springdale. So building permits, I think, will continue to grow in Springdale. It's going to be probably a flatline year, and flatline, for instance, if I'm looking at the data, is going to be over 400 permits. So I expect the same kind of thing to happen, especially with the lower interest rates. Same kind of thing will happen in 2024 for Springdale as it did this year. And the fourth and final hot take I have for growing cities in Northwest Arkansas, and this one made the list last year when it came to building permits. This one, again, Rogers. Now, I do admit Rogers has grown exponentially. A lot of projects have been announced. A lot of projects have already started. That definitely, the data sits inside of this data set now for 2023. I don't think we'll have as much of a boom year next year for Rogers because the boom happened both 2022 and 2023. 2024 is going to be a finalizing building year for Rogers. We have the Whole Foods coming in. We have the soccer stadium being built. We have a bunch of new subdivisions being built on the south end of Rogers near Cave Springs. We have a lot of more townhouses, condos. Those have already been built into a lot of the data sets from this year. Now, what I'm expecting next year is that we'll probably have a couple more announcements when it comes to bigger housing structures there. And then we're going to probably start seeing the building actually happening and then finalizing in 2025 is my guess. So next year for Rogers will be, again, a good year, not the massive year it had this year, but definitely a building year. You're going to see Rogers in the Pinnacle section change dramatically. All All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you are thinking about coming down to Northwest Arkansas, download my 3-day itineraries link below, right below. Maybe you're a venturer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids, whatever it is. There's a 3-day itinerary link down below for you, so go ahead and download it and use it to get down here. Also, when you do come down here, I can give you the $10 tour so I can kind of show you around the whole area. Plus, you can check out some homes for sale or for rent and see how far your dollar will go in Northwest Arkansas compared to where you're coming from. All right, guys, that's the next one.